The movie tells the story of a young, ambitious medical student named Lulli, whose passion and dedication to her dream of becoming a top surgeon is at the forefront of her life. Lulli is deeply committed to her career, often placing it above everything else, including her personal relationships. She and her fellow interns are enjoying a particularly exciting year, spending much of their time in the hospital, where they are immersed in observing and learning from real-life medical cases. The scene opens with Lulli, the most spirited and enthusiastic student in her medical school, attending a party with her boyfriend Diego. They appear to be having a great time together until Diego attempts to have a serious conversation with her. He starts to tell her that he's considering dropping out of school, but Lulli, preoccupied with choosing their dinner from the menu, doesn't fully engage with the conversation. When Diego brings up the topic again, Lulli dismisses it, showing little interest or concern for his dilemma. This leaves Diego feeling somewhat hurt and disappointed, but he chooses to remain silent about his feelings. As the evening progresses, Diego experiences discomfort in his leg and decides to head to the restroom. On his way, he stops to talk with their professor Paola, which sparks a sense of jealousy in Lulli. When Diego returns, Lulli confronts him, expressing her frustration over minor issues in their relationship. Diego candidly admits that he feels closer to Paola as she listens to him, unlike Lulli. This escalates into an argument where Lulli bluntly tells Diego she's tired of hearing about his doubts regarding his medical career, suggesting that he might not be cut out to be a doctor after all. The tension between them intensifies, and in the heat of the moment, Diego begins to suffer a severe allergic reaction to shrimp in his food. An ambulance is called to the scene, and Diego is rushed to the hospital, struggling to breathe. Lulli stays by his side, visibly worried and desperate, holding his hand in the ambulance. Amidst this crisis, Diego coldly announces that their relationship is over, leading to their breakup in the ambulance. The next morning, Lulli confides in her mother about the previous night's events, including the dramatic end of her relationship with Diego. Her mother offers her comfort, but Lulli is in a hurry to head to the ward. As she leaves the house, she encounters her friend Julio, who is on his way to pick her up. Julio is pushing his old car, which adds a touch of humor to the scene, providing a contrast to the emotional intensity of Lulli's story. In the hospital ward, the atmosphere is tense as Julia and Diego, following their recent breakup, act as if they are strangers to each other. They focus on their clerking duties, trying to maintain professionalism despite the awkwardness between them. Julia, eager to prove herself, steps away from the group to attend to a patient lying in a bed. She begins to examine the patient with a sense of purpose. However, her actions catch the attention of Professor Paula, who immediately intervenes. Paula criticizes Julia for overstepping her boundaries as a student. Feeling the weight of her professor's words, Julia silently acknowledges her mistake, aware that she acted too boldly. Despite this setback, Julia's determination to learn and help doesn't wane. She moves on to another patient, with Diego also present in the room. Suddenly, an unexpected and life-altering incident occurs. As Julia adjusts a machine attached to the patient, both she and Diego are struck by an electromagnetic shock, causing them to collapse to the floor, unconscious. When Julia regains consciousness, she finds herself lying in a hospital bed, with the events leading up to her blackout flooding back to her. Beside her is Diego, also recovering from the shock. Her friend Vanessa comes to check on her, expressing concern for her well-being. As Julia tries to get up, she's overcome with fear of facing Professor Paula, worried about the repercussions of her actions in the ward. Vanessa, attempting to comfort Julia, mentions Paula and Diego, leading Julia to mistakenly interpret that Vanessa believes Paula has taken Diego away from her. Confused and distressed by the unusual turn of events, Julia hastily leaves the hospital. In the corridor, she encounters a classmate. Surprisingly, she finds herself responding to her classmate's unspoken thoughts about looking for Ricardo. This newfound ability to read minds baffles Julia, adding to her distress. Her confusion escalates as she heads to the bus station. On the bus, she hears an old woman's thoughts, moaning the lack of courtesy as no one offers her a seat. Julia, reacting impulsively to the woman's internal monologue, loudly insists that someone give up their seat for the old woman. This outburst, based on the woman's thoughts rather than spoken words, leaves Julia even more perplexed about her strange new ability. Lulli, grappling with her newfound ability to hear people's thoughts, decides to visit her friend Julio, who is at a sports court. She stands outside, catching Julio's attention as he wraps up his training. The coach announces to Julio that he has been selected as one of the main players for an upcoming competition. However, instead of celebrating, Julio reveals his calf injury and turns down the opportunity. He then joins Lulli, who has been patiently waiting for him. As they sit together, Lulli requests Julio to let her check his calf. Through her newly acquired mind-reading ability, she realizes that Julio is actually pretending to be injured. She confronts him about it, and through his thoughts, she understands his fear of playing in front of a crowd and his reluctance to make his debut at this time. Lulli opens up about her own struggles, explaining her bizarre experience of hearing people's thoughts. Julio, skeptical, suggests that these might just be her own thoughts projecting outward. They then head to Lulli's home. At Lulli's house, her mother warmly greets Julio and playfully suggests that he and Lulli should date. However, Julio, valuing their friendship, tells her they are not romantically compatible. In Lulli's room, he jokes about her mother's matchmaking attempts, and Lulli, reading his thoughts, bluntly asks him if he's gay. Julio is taken aback by her accurate guess and realizes that Lulli genuinely has the ability to read minds. He pleads with her to keep his secret, and she agrees, asking him to do the same for her. However, their secrets are quickly revealed when Vanessa walks into the room, and both Lulli and Julio impulsively blurt out each other's secrets. The three friends then head to the beach to discuss these revelations. Vanessa, fascinated by Lulli's unique ability, sees it as a divine power that can be used for their advantage. She suggests that Lulli should use her mind-reading skills to uncover any hidden feelings or secrets between Paula and Diego. Despite her reluctance to intrude on people's privacy, Lulli agrees to try it out. The conversation then shifts to Julio's situation. Lulli and Vanessa assure him of their unwavering support, comforting him about his uniqueness and affirming that they are with him no matter what. In the morning, as everyone enters the ward, Diego unexpectedly calls out to Lulli. She feels embarrassed, thinking he might have noticed her eavesdropping earlier. Contrary to the tension from the day before, Diego is unusually friendly towards her. When Lulli questions his intent gaze, he surprises her further by leaning in for a kiss. Later, Professor Paula summons Lulli to her office to inquire about her well-being following the previous day's accident. Lulli, hiding the unusual occurrences she's been experiencing, assures Paula she's fine. Paula then reveals that Diego is suffering from temporary amnesia, unable to recall recent events. This revelation explains Diego's peculiar behavior towards Lulli. Curious about Paula's true feelings for Diego, Lulli subtly uses her ability to read Paula's thoughts while discussing him. Lulli discovers that Paula only views Diego as a maternal figure, quashing her baseless suspicions. Deciding not to inform Diego about their breakup, Lulli chooses to continue their relationship as if nothing had changed. Meanwhile, Vanessa, intrigued by Lulli's mind-reading abilities, repeatedly asks her to delve into the thoughts of her crush, Ricardo. It soon becomes apparent that Ricardo is more attracted to men, a revelation that aligns with Julia, who is gay. Back in the ward, Lulli's newfound ability proves advantageous during patient rounds. She answers every question Paula poses by reading the patient's minds, uncovering their hidden symptoms and causes. This impresses Paula, who begins to see Lulli in a new light, strengthening their relationship. Vanessa, aware of Lulli's secret, quietly enjoys watching her succeed, while the other students, unaware of Lulli's advantage, look on enviously as Paula praises her. Lulli and Diego spend time together at his house, taking advantage of his father's absence. Their time is abruptly interrupted the next morning when Diego's father unexpectedly returns, leading to an awkward moment. Over breakfast, Diego's father expresses his disapproval of public doctors and warns Diego against pursuing such a career. He then shifts the conversation to Lulli's aspiration to become a surgeon. Lulli, using her mind-reading ability, becomes frustrated when she hears Diego's father internally doubt her potential to succeed in such a demanding profession. The next day, Lulli, along with her peers, attends a sports competition to support their friend Julio. The event is filled with excitement and encouragement, but the mood quickly shifts when Julio is hospitalized due to excruciating pain after the game. Lulli visits Julio in the hospital, offering her support as he undergoes medical examinations. Leaving Julio's room, Lulli encounters Diego in the corridor. Their interaction is interrupted when Diego suddenly freezes, his memories from the night of the party flooding back to him. As these forgotten moments resurface, Diego becomes overwhelmed and faints, struggling to breathe. Lulli reacts quickly, calling for medical assistance. Professor Paula arrives promptly, and they rush Diego to the surgical ward. Amidst the chaos, Lulli recalls Diego mentioning heart pain previously. Piecing together his symptoms, she hypothesizes a potential diagnosis related to his lung. Paula considers Lulli's insight and proceeds with surgery based on this assumption. During the intense CPR procedure on Diego, Lulli, overcome with emotion and stress, collapses. The medical staff, mistaking her reaction for shock, due to Diego's condition, gently escort her outside to wait. After hours of anxious waiting, Lulli's relief is palpable when Paula emerges from the surgery room, informing her that the operation was successful. Diego's father arrives shortly after, expressing his relief and regret for not being there sooner. Paula credits Lulli for her crucial role in identifying Diego's condition. As Diego recovers, he inquires about Lulli's contribution to his treatment. Lulli modestly responds that her key action was simply to listen, sharing a knowing smile that hints at her special ability. This moment marks a turning point in their relationship, and they reconcile, even after Diego fully regains his memory. The movie then fast-forwards to 2 years later, showing the characters as they graduate from medical school. Lulli, once aspiring to be a doctor, chooses a different path, becoming a consultant who helps people in a unique way, likely utilizing her mind-reading ability. Diego, who had once considered quitting medical school, fulfills his calling as a doctor, dedicated to aiding those in need. The film concludes with these resolutions, showcasing the growth and evolution of the characters as they navigate their personal and professional lives, underlined by the message that life can take unexpected turns, leading to fulfilling destinations. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.